caught up with the CEO of Rack Center, Tunde Koka, and I started by asking him what a data center means and why it is so important. Tunde Koka, glad to have you on the show today.
Thank you very much.
The last time we had this conversation was 4 years ago when this show just started. Since then, how has the IT industry evolved?
Fantastically, actually, globally and locally in Nigeria. We've had quite a surprising take-up of blockchain, yes, in real applications. In Nigeria, the broadband penetration has actually reached the 30%, just exceeded its slightly target, which is fantastic news, because that underpins really the delivery of technology out there to the endpoint, the users, the consumers. The development of the tech ecosystem in Nigeria has really been quite remarkable. Nigeria now moving towards the highest, if not the second highest at least, with South Africa, Kenya, with respect to inward direct investment for technology startups. Nigeria is increasingly known for its technology capability now, not just oil and gas. It has tremendous progress over the last 5 years, but tremendous progress doesn't mean we're there yet. There's a lot that we can do still. There's a lot of opportunity for technology in Nigeria.
Now, I know at the center of all this is having the right data center infrastructure. But before we go into all of that, can you explain to us what a data center is and why it is important in today's world?
A data center is an environment that is really very sophisticated environment for hosting IT systems. You have to have the servers that run all of these applications somewhere, and they have to be in a very reliable place. They have to be in a place that is climatically controlled at very, very specific temperatures and humidity, else these systems will not perform optimally, or they actually even crash. You have to have 100% power. In an environment here where we don't have a 100% grid system, we kind of operate like a power company. That's what a data center is.
I also like to ask you, are organizations embracing the culture of colocation?
Yes, I think so, but it's been quite a journey, and you've been observing this journey over the years. I would say that 5 years ago, if you asked people about colocation, they'll initially say to you, I'll go build my own data center. But now, if you talk about building your own data center, people look at you, even the CEOs look at you as if you must have a lot of money to burn. Where are you getting your capital from? So it becomes difficult now for technology leaders even to take it to their board at the idea of building a data center. It takes time. It's understandable. At that point in time, you really didn't have the scale, high quality capability here. Even some people would actually go and consume colocation data center in the UK and live with the latency. So that's a baseline that says that capacity and capability is here now. It takes time to build the reputation, to build the track record, and we now have some of the leading companies here.
Let's talk a bit about data security. In the case of Nigeria, do you think there's a match between data security and what we have as a cybercrime law today?
Data security, you see, the laws always have to be evolved in time, yes? So the key thing about security and cybersecurity is, that there are different levels of cybersecurity. There are issues of, just being open to being compromised by hacking and so on. You also have the issue of personal data theft and so on. You have issues of the cloud right now with respect to security, and it continues to evolve. As soon as you plug one hole, the cybercrime world finds another one, and it continues to move. So it's an evolving thing. Even in the industry we're in now, I see we live in a innovation cycle of just 3 months, really. So if we're not at the top front end of innovation, it only takes you about 6 months to become obsolete. You see what I mean? It's this, the cybercrime cycle is higher than that. So we have to keep pace. I could be very, very pedantic and go into little aspects of cybercrime law and stuff like that and say, well, this piece is not ready enough and that piece is not ready enough. Certainly we're creating the right level of awareness. And some of the bodies like NIDA, for instance, is putting a lot of effort into the cybercrime work. From what I've read, they've been putting a lot of effort into preparation around cybercrime, especially as we're coming towards an election. So in that context, I will say we have to always continue to evolve our cybercrime laws, okay? Because we can't stand still.
Now, this question is one that concerns a lot of web designers, developers, even startups. Why is it expensive to host their website locally in Nigeria?
It depends on what package it is. You see, it's like I could tell you that it's more expensive to buy something here, a watch, for instance, and then you find that there's a specialist piece of the package that you need elsewhere that would be naturally cheaper elsewhere than here. It happens. That's why I said that we live in a global ecosystem. If you host in one place, you want to be able to consume services from elsewhere. You see what I mean? And so you need to think about the overall architecture of what you're doing. Increasingly, you will find that as we innovate, we have more services available here that are, right now, generally on a cost basis, we're competitive. But you need to always make sure you compare apples and apples when you look at the cost comparison.
Finally, if I ask you to predict what the landscape will look like in the next 5 years, what would you say?
From a tech point of view, I think you'll see artificial intelligence becoming a lot more pervasive. Lots of people think artificial intelligence is robots, running around the place and so on. But it's actually artificial intelligence is a way of using data, big data. People talk about big data, Even Google Maps is artificial intelligence. It uses large amounts of data to think through and come up with a solution. You will find artificial intelligence being used significantly more in decision-making processes, in financial services, in other customer services sort of areas that takes data that's available and understands the context of the customer and comes with solutions that deliver significantly higher customer experience to the customer. You'll find there are more applications of the use of blockchain. Blockchain currently is known for the impact it's had on currency. I think you start to see more uses in our everyday lives now increasingly being implemented around blockchain. You see significantly more pervasiveness in terms of availability of data. It's no longer voice. Data is, you see some of the adverts that are coming out, grandmaster of data, 3G good, 4G better, and people will run their lives a lot more around data.
Wow, what a great year ahead it will be. Thank you for being on the show today.
It's been a pleasure. Thank you.
I've been chatting with Tunde Koka, CEO Rack Center. One critical question we should answer as a nation is where our data is stored. Huge tech companies have millions of Nigerians as users and customers. Shouldn't we be asking them where the data is stored and how it's being used? Europe has done something through General Data Protection Regulation called GDPR. That's a privacy law that protects Europeans. The choice is ours, but we have to make the conscious effort to ensure that we safeguard the data of Nigerians. That's our show for today. Remember, we live on social media at Tech Trends TV. You can watch this and previous edition of the show on the channel's TV YouTube account or via my blog, cfablog.ng. For Tech Trends, I'm Chukwemeka Agbata.